Thank you for listening to the Shiurim in Torah Or and Likutei Torah project of Chabad Tzfas, ChabadTSFAT.com. This week's Torah Or discusses the screaming, the tza'akasa, that came up from Sodom. Rashi, of course, brings down that what Chazal bring, that there was a girl who had fed a poor person and they killed her in a horrible way. And Chassidus explains, the Rebbe Rashab explains how even Midas HaChesed at that point doesn't want to deal with, doesn't find the schus, and this comes from the Torah that even Midas HaChesed can't find the schus for Sodom. It's worth noticing also what's brought down in Gemara and Shabbos, that Hashem was patient with Sodom 52 years, while it got progressively worse and more away from anything having to do with Hashem, or more away from anything to do with what's proper and what's right in the world, until even Midas HaChesed couldn't defend it. In Torah Or, the Alter Rebbe asks about what Chazal say, Golei v'yadua. First he mentions that the screaming, the tza'akasa, is a feminine language and also future tense, whereas asu, which is the rest of the pasuk, of what they did, that's zachar, and that is past tense. So he's saying that tza'akasa is the midah of malchus, Hashem's kingship. And what happens here is Hashem wants to, he hears the screaming from Midas HaMalchus and from Midas HaDin, and which is connected, Din the Malchus HaDin, that Malchus is connected with Din, but it wants to see if there's a way, if Midas HaChesed and if the Rachamim will come and say maybe there's some schus for Sodom, and there is none. The Rebbe Shab brings out over here how Midas HaMalchus is a wheel, that when we do good, it turns to chesed. If chas v'shalom somebody does not good, it turns to gvura to fix that. And what was needed, even mitzad Midas HaChesed, was a total fix. And unfortunately, in a very scary way, nobody should know from that anymore. However, there came a point in the society, in the way that society ran and came down, where it got to a level where Hashem had to take care of it, and even Midas HaChesed wasn't able to find or didn't see it proper to be melabed schus. But the Alter Rebbe also asks, everything is known to Hashem, and Chazal say Golui v'yadua. It is revealed to Hashem. So what is this that Hashem is going to come down and see the screaming, that Hashem will know? And the Alter Rebbe explains that there are two ways that Hashem looks in the world. One is Yichudi law, everything is part of Hashem. And Hashem knows everything, of course, because everything's part of Hashem. So from knowing Himself, He knows everything. And that's Hashem, the way He's above the worlds. When Hashem comes down into vessels, so Hashem is dealing with, He doesn't just know of a thing, but He's dealing with what's going on. And that is dealt with on each specific level. Each person at their time, the way they're standing now, like we have also in the parsha of Asher Husham, that the child was judged, Yishmael was judged, where he is now, where he's standing right now. That is Das Tachtein, that's Hashem working through Kelim. Before this, the Alter Rebbe explains a wondrous maimer at the beginning of Torah Or about the 10 tikkunim that Hashem makes, the 10 spheres that Hashem comes out in the world. And he says, yes, they're all connected with Him, they're all part of His yichud, but they're kelim that Hashem invents, that He works within the world, and they are all one with Him in a complete oneness, but they're all also separate ideas that come out when they're functioning as kelim. But they're all be'etzem, they're all in essence part of Hashem's oneness. And even though He establishes 10 different ways, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, obviously before that Chacham Bin and Das and everything else, the 10 spheres that we've spoken about many times in these shiurim. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to go over those again. Those are things that Hashem created. So Hashem isn't just unlimited Chachma, He created the whole concept of wisdom. And He could have created a totally other concept instead with which to come out to us. But those concepts are be'etzem all coming from His oneness, all part of His oneness, and He's just creating them to serve certain functions. these are still the ways that Hashem comes out into the world, so that we can have a connection with Hashem and develop an emotional connection through tapping into a little bit of an expression of Hashem's greatness through these spheres. That's why Hashem comes out in Seichel and in Midas. And that is a synopsis of the Torah Or of this week. Wishing everyone a good Shabbos. Please continue to see our programs and to take part. Chabad Sfas, tsfat.com.